What's going on, guys? Hey, welcome to today's episode. This is a good one. We have a great conversation. Obviously, this is the L3 perspective where we talk life, love, and leadership. We really dove into the piece of life and leadership, primarily speaking on the topic of coaching.
Yep. So we're going to talk about coaching, kind of tell you guys what the fundamental differences are between coaching, mentorship, how we activate these things in our daily life, how you can, and ultimately just how to do better when it comes to accountability itself, and maybe some resources you guys can reach out to just be the best you. Yes. But we hope you guys enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you think. And here you go.
We'll see y'all soon.
Peace. I am all about talking about emotions and how you feel. And if you don't like something, please tell us.
Something that I also need to be asking myself too is, are the rooms that I'm in or not in, do they align up with any of those things?
Yeah.
Right? If you take the letters and the word listen, and you spell the word silent, it's those same letters.
It's the same letters.
What's going on, guys? Hey, welcome back to season 2 of the L3 Perspective. My name is Glenn Davis. I'm sitting here with my guy,
Coach
Cameron Macias, and we want to welcome you back to the L3 Perspective, where we talk life, we talk love, we talk leadership. And so we obviously have one overall goal, is simply just to provide you value. And looking forward to today's talk. Today's topic actually touch on both life and leadership.
Facts.
And so we'll dive into that. But before we do, Cam, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Hey, y'all. Before you forget, per the usual, like, love, share, comment, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. At the end of the day, share this with 5 people. These conversations are the ones that really affect everyday life for all of us. And ultimately, we do this for you to begin with. So tell us what you like, send it to people who you think could really prosper from the conversations. And at the end of the day, keep listening. We appreciate y'all who are rocking with us into season 2. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, we do it for y'all.
Yes. Cam, I've had the opportunity today. First of all, man, how's life right now?
Life is good. I'm in so for those of you guys who follow me, mm-hmm. you have seen that I am doing kind of like a challenge right now. So it started off as a 21-day challenge with our guest Sanyika, who you guys got to meet in episode 1 of season 2. And it was a 21-day challenge, just really to make you more accountable kind of yourself. So there were 5 principles. Ultimately, you take some with you, you leave some, but it's just to kind of let you know what potentially could be possible for you. So I've been waking up early, 3:45 in the morning.
Gotcha.
Walking them 3 miles, all that type, and then working out again, and then just getting my day started, and then in bed by 8 o'clock. So, I'm 60 years old now. But no, it's good. We all know what it's like to hit mm-hmm. points where we make fundamental changes in how we're operating.
Right.
And I'm in the middle of that change right now. And I'm excited about what's already happened, but what will continue to happen as I stay consistent with how I want things to be going forward.
I'll say I'm super proud of you, just because I've already seen the transition and the growth, and like you mentioned, the consistency will definitely be the key. And so,
Glenn's my biggest fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm encouraging you to keep at it. I know the first couple of days are always the hardest to start, and so just kind of seeing your consistency, with waking up at 3:45 and attacking the day and going all in, like that.
Yep.
It's just it's inspiring, not even just to me, but to the people that watch us, you know. And again, not only are we doing this to provide value to the people, we also are continuing to sharpen our own saws.
Yeah. And you never know who's watching either.
You don't.
I think that's a big thing. It's because I'll just talk to people about other stuff and they'll ask me about it. Now, I just tell them this is what I'm doing. And it's funny the things that people think that they can't do.
Yeah.
Like I got, as most people, I got 5 kids in the house. Me and my wife work. I have a full-time military career, as well as the podcast, as well as building my own business for when I retire, like multitude of things. And it just takes really commitment to the things you want to do, which is hard because it means you say no to other things.
Right.
And that's, I think, the hardest part for a lot of people is saying, it's not even saying yes, it's saying no.
Right.
Yep. Saying no to staying up late, saying no. One of the things is like, no sugar, gluten, lactose, or legumes. I like beans. Gotcha. I don't necessarily mind lactose. That's not a big deal. Sugars.
Right.
I was eating too much ice cream recently anyways. Gluten, that's a hard one, right. Because everything's damn got gluten in it these days, pretty much, it feels like. So
but all that ties into even the life, right? Like when you talk about the consistency and everything like that, the leadership piece of it and the thing that you love, right? Are you saying that you just love doing the things that you love to do, or do you simply are you willing to actually make those changes regarding habits and different things to actually really love it, right? Sometimes we talk about falling in love with the process, but there's some not hate, but there's some there's some things that we keep ourselves distanced from that thing that we want to love, because it's painful. But
I listen to David Goggins' book too in the morning.
It's a good book.
People have read the book.
Yeah.
I feel like it's totally different listening to it.
It is.
Have you listened to it?
I listened to it. Okay, I just finished it last month.
Okay. So listening to it, you listen to the one that like it's like podcast style, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That keeps me going. And honestly, as I'm walking, I'm interested to see how easy the walks are when I transition to other books.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. But I don't think it'll make that big of a difference. But reading is something I don't feel like I was doing enough of, because sitting down and reading is not the easiest task for me. Like, although I'm highly intelligent, I'm not a fast reader. Net can read a page in 30 seconds. It'll take me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it takes a while. And so I like that I can like 2 birds with 1 stone it.
Here's a secret I'll share with you guys. Actually, when I read books, I read it like I'm presenting it, because I can't. Not that I can't. It's hard for me just to read it and retain it. So I have to read it like I'm presenting it to someone.
So like you speak out loud?
Yeah.
I was doing that, but I read so early in the morning. I'd be like, I don't want anybody.
Nah, yeah, I got you. But yeah, that's that leadership piece of me. Like, I retain it better. I've learned that I retain it better as if I'm teaching it to someone.
Yeah.
In the words of what I'm saying. Anyway, long intro to our to the topic today, but I felt that it was very in alignment with life, love, and leadership.
Yeah.
And always want to tap in with you just to kind of see where you are mentally. I see what you're doing physically, but making sure that you still keeping on with the keep on. So with that being said, so today I had the opportunity to actually watch you, actually teach a course on coaching.
Yeah.
Right. And we've talked about coaching and its value and different things like that before. And kind of watching you actually teach it. Obviously I'm always learning things about you, which I appreciate. And having that opportunity to sit in both kind of in student mode and observation mode, and just kind of just checking out everything, right? Because I see what you're doing and why you're doing it, and how coaching specifically ties into if you're filling a leadership position, whether in home, in the office, business, whatever, but also how it touches life.
Yeah.
And so, so first of all, one of the first things I seen on there, it was about like communicating coaching, or it was on one of the first 2 slides, but just kind of an overview of coaching. And I remember like 8 months ago, you shared with me kind of your philosophy or the difference of coaching versus how a lot of people say what coaching is. So
there's a misinterpretation.
Yeah, let's start with that.
So for all the people in the back, so most people, when they hear coaching, they're, basketball coach, football coach, Mentoring.
Right.
That's not what coaching is fundamentally. And it's okay. I get it. Like, I'd rather you think you're being coached than not. You know, at least someone's guiding you somehow, right? And so first thing is at least someone's guiding you. But fundamentally, coaching gets mixed in with mentorship.
Yeah.
And so mentorship is like, I have the answers, and or I have been through this situation or something similar. Here's my advice. So mentorship is, in retrospect, it's advice. You go to someone like, hey, what book should I be reading? Because I want to be more like you. Oh, these are books that I read. You know, so that's more kind of what mentorship is advisement of some sort.
Okay.
Coaching is helping somebody discover the answers within themselves. It's partnering with them to create an environment where they can self-discover.
Right.
And granted, if the problem is sometimes the problem can be very like outside resource specific. So they may not know about the resource, and that's but so for instance, if you're coaching somebody and they don't know about the resource, but you do, although it would be easier to say, oh, well, this is where you'll find that information.
Right.
You want it to be somewhat of a grow moment for that person. So you would ask questions fundamentally that would lead them down a path that would help them discover what that resource would be. So for instance, if someone say they're in debt.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I just don't even, know, like, oh, well, like, what are some of the things that you might be able to do to find out, how to get out of debt? Oh, well, I could Google it, or like, oh, like I know Glenn might know someone that, oh, cool. So like, what do you think would be a good next step? I'll probably Google it. And then it, but instead of me telling you to just Google it, I allowed you the space where you can kind of like beef up yourself, like you figure it out yourself, and it builds confidence in decision making, in life, and everything. And so, long answer to ultimately the difference between mentorship and coaching is that coaching, you're not giving answers, you're helping people discover it from within.
Yeah. So do you feel, and it's funny because I remember when you shared a piece of that with me 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
I agree with how you view the definition or your philosophy of coaching, because I feel like there is a big difference.
Yeah.
But I will say, in doing that, it reminded me, and today again, it highlighted of how are you coaching your kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you guiding your kids? Like, are you, like you had the what, why, how? Right. And you had that conversation with the folks who were in attendance today. And I was asking myself, the question is, most of the time that I'm talking to my kids, am I just kind of directing?
Yep.
Majority of the time, am I asking? And then even if I'm asking, how am I asking?
Facts.
Am I asking with more of a demand, like, why did you X, Y, Z? Or is it like, hey, how could you, how could you have done that same thing and got a different result, or the same result? Or, so again, goes back to just being aware, and whatever your position is or your responsibility is when leading people, whether it's your house or not, like, what questions are you asking them, and how are the questions being asked to get the same result, to help them to tap into themselves to achieve the thing it is that they want to achieve.
Yeah. Well, you also want kids to, like, have you seen that study that they did where they tested kids when they were like 5 or 6 years old, and like 97% of them were considered geniuses by the test standard. And they were like, oh, wow, it's crazy. And so they continued the research. And every 5 years of schooling, realistically, they became less and less geniuses. And the reason why was because, what you can agree with me or not, the school system, it doesn't teach you how to think outside the box. It teaches 100%. You how to answer questions and how to just memorize stuff.
Right.
And that is something that, as parents, it can be hard because you want to just tell your kid what to do. Like, just do it this way. It'll make more sense, this, that, and the third. However, you also want to empower them to think outside the box.
Right.
And so, like, with the kids in the house, when they ask me something, and it's crazy because you can see, because my kids go to school, yours don't, obviously. And so, like, I can see how my kids are surprised when I just like let things happen, or like I'll just like, yeah, that's fine, try it out. And they're like, wait, really? And I'm like, as long as you're not like hurting yourself or burning my house down or like getting paint on my carpet, I'm not opposed to free thinking. I'm very big on, if the result is going to be the same and or better by allowing you the space to figure it out, then so be it.
Right.
If you want to load the dishwasher before you wash the dishes, so be it. If you want to, if you decide that you want to, I don't know, do something in a certain order, it may not be the order that I would do it, but that doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah.
And and I try and help the kids not do that to each other either. Because, you have two older sons and you have a younger son, and then you have, I'm sure the boys will eventually try and tell Olivia like, oh, do it this way. And you'll be like, no, like, let her figure it out her own. She's got to figure it out on her own. And so, one of those main questions is like, well, what do you think?
Right. I think that's a question for, like, if you are a leader, right, and you're in your office or you're leading people virtually, whatever, I think that one of the things that I've seen both in the military and also outside of the military is people not allowing the people who are in leadership positions to actually lead.
Yeah.
Right. To actually, like, I'll give you the answer versus coaching them through the process, because it's easier to just give the answer versus, hey, let's process this, or let me ask you some questions to get you to think. I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm here to support you. And I think that, just universally, we have to do a better job of doing that as leaders, right?
Yeah.
Our job is to help develop the next wave of leaders, right? Regardless of if they're older than you and you're leading, and you're leading them, or they're your peer. There was a book I suggested to a team of people last month, and it was John Maxwell's 360-degree leader.
Yeah.
And
JM.
Yeah. But just kind of going back to empowering people, right? There are certain things that are there are certain principles in that book that I could have just given the answer, right? Hey, I see these holes. Here's the information right here. But instead, I felt like it was wiser of me to introduce them to knowledge, so that they can grow and we can process that and coach them and ask them questions within the book, to help them or to empower them to be in a position of, they're already in a leadership position, but to actually execute and become a better, well-rounded leader. In the sense of kind of just coaching.
And I mean, and that's all it is, right? Is like, we talked about it today, is people just want to feel heard.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with what they say. Doesn't mean you have to go with their idea. But 9 times out of 10, people don't even necessarily care if you do what they suggest.
Right.
They just want to feel like I brought something valuable that people considered.
Right. Yeah. So I have a question for you. So obviously you're a certified coach, right? And that obviously wasn't an overnight process. What is your certification? And then the other question, that why did you decide to get certified as a coach?
Yeah. So first thing, ICF certified, so International Coaching Federation, like, it's considered the gold standard of coaching, because it's regulated, there's tests, there's actual what's the word? Observed coaching. Like, you are observed while you're doing it. So it's not just like you just take a test and you get it. Like, people literally observe you and have to sign off. Like, actually, yes, they follow the fundamentals and things of that nature. It's been a 2-year process for me. However, you can do it faster. It's just, I took my time. I wasn't in a rush. I've probably honestly been able to take the test that I actually take in 2 weeks for like a year.
Gotcha.
It's just, I just like, it doesn't make me any less of a coach.
Right.
And normally, and I'm not looking for a job at a company to have it. But so in 2 weeks, I will take my test to actually be an associate certified coach, which is one of 3 levels for ICF. Gotcha. So although I am ICF certified because my coaching has been certified by ICF, I don't hold like the badge yet.
Gotcha.
So I'll hold the badge in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And then the next level of that is pretty much twice the amount of work to get there. And then the work after that is twice the amount of work to get to that. And realistically, it's probably like a 5 to 10 year process to get to the 3rd level.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then why? I was fortunate enough through all the work I did on LinkedIn a couple of years ago. Somebody recommended a coach to me, was like, hey, you should really connect with this guy, Randy Block. Shout out. And well, he was a prior recruiter.
Okay.
And he's like,
Air Force recruiter?
No, civilian recruiter. He was an Army guy, was in the Vietnam War.
Gotcha.
And then anyways, he was a recruiter in the civilian sector for 30 years, got burned out on it, and then decided to be an executive coach. And so I got connected with him, and then after talking to him, he was like, yo, you should do this. Like, I think you could help a lot of people.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I asked that question because what was running around in my mind. So actually this evening I'll be speaking to the Vanden boys, right? Yeah. So I do shout out to the Vanden squad in Fairfield, California. But yeah, so I do mindset coaching with them.
Yep.
Right. And what I've learned from the very first year that I did, so this is my 3rd year doing it with them. The first year is that I was just bringing a lot of content.
Yeah.
Right. I was providing them with practical principles, but I was just like, hey, here are the steps of how you can achieve X, Y, Z. Yeah. Right. And what I've learned over the last couple of years of kind of experiencing in coaching is asking questions.
Yep.
Because a lot of time, regardless of the age, right? So they range from, 15 to 17 years of age. But sometimes they have the answers, right? They just need someone to help coach them through it. And thankfully they have a great coaching staff.
Yep.
Right. And so now they have someone else from the other end that's able to help drill in certain things while still giving them practical principles, but helping them to process through the mindset piece of what it takes to be an elite athlete, right? Or an elite student athlete, right? Because the stuff in the classroom matters as well. So that's what kind of sparked that question. But yeah, man, I enjoy being in that space of coaching within that leadership realm and all aspects of my life. Sometimes on a personal side, I got to check myself a lot with my kids because I got to have them that patience and tap
crazy. All of them.
Shout out to my kids.
Well, it's an accountability thing too.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people enjoy about coaching is that, when you talk to someone and you come up with this plan together, they know that you are going to ask them about said plan the next time you talk.
Right.
When all my coaching clients, after, when we accomplish some of the things, not everything, but some of the things that they wanted to accomplish, I asked them, how did you get here with my help? And you weren't able to do it by yourself before. And many of them said it was the accountability piece because I knew I would have to answer to Coach Cam when he called me and said, have you done X, Y, and Z like you said?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think the problem though, and I think that's you have a certain set of clients that are at a certain level already. And what I was about to say is that the problem is that most people don't enjoy being held accountable.
They don't.
Most people don't even hold themselves accountable.
100%.
Right. And I think that this is why I love leadership. This is why I love coaching.
Yeah.
Because well, number one, you have to be able to coach yourself. Right?
Yeah.
And number one, that's important. The other piece of it is just being able to, again, going back to if you're filling that leadership role, not just being a positional leader, but being able to coach people to get them to be the best version of themselves within that leadership realm so that they can then in turn, again, train that next generation of leaders. And so I think that's probably, without knowing it years ago, I think that's why I fell in love with it because, or I fell in love with leadership development. It was the aspect of being able to converse with people, ask them questions, and then help them to get to the results that they want to get to. But a big piece of that was the accountability piece and the check-in. And check-ins. When people value your opinion, not even just your opinion, but value who you are and what you bring to the table enough, even though it's hard for some people to be accountable, right? Even if it's the last minute, they know that they're about to hop on a call with you in 30 minutes. Like they're finding ways to get closer to whatever that thing that they had to do, even if they didn't. Even if they didn't do it. So,
it's a whole thing, man. And I mean, and a lot of it, it's a good. People don't like being held accountable. People. So listening to the David Goggins book, do you remember the chapter on the being uncommon amongst uncommon?
Yeah.
So that's like, I think more and more when I recognize someone who can truly hold themselves accountable without outside influence. Nowadays that's uncommon. So it's something else.
100%.
You know, something and I don't want to necessarily say 100% of the time because we all fall accountable to somebody at some point. You know, like you won't take out the trash, so your wife's like, "Take out the trash, please." Like, I need the trash. You know,
I'm on it, brother. I'm different.
I do my best, but someone, when I see people who unfortunately don't have that, I call it like the internal strength.
Yeah,
you know, the internal strength to be like, hey, like you are not performing the way that you told yourself you would.
Yeah.
That's, and that goes down a whole different alleyway. But at the end of the day, that's like that internal growth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Life, leadership, coaching, tying into both of them. So I'll say this for our listeners. I challenge you, if you don't have a coach in your life, right, in any area, whatever area of your life that you're trying to grow in, if you don't have a coach, I would go and seek one, right? Find someone who their values align up with yours, right? They've, maybe accomplished certain things that you're looking to accomplish in that path, right? Understanding that, again, there's a difference between finding a mentor and finding someone who can coach you through processes.
And both are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, both are good. Preferably, they should be separate people. You should have somebody who calls you out on your bullshit and holds you accountable for coaching, but then there should also be someone who can help guide as well.
Yeah. With that being said,
like, love, share, comment, tell us what you do like, tell us what you don't like.
And as always, thanks for rocking with us. I like talking to you, man.
I like talking to you.
I like talking to you.
Oh, you know what we should do real quick?
I'm from P as well. What's up?
Sit down. We're going to record the intro.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Because we said we were going to do that, and we didn't.
Okay. Oh,
right.
Of this.
So, for this episode specifically.
Gotcha.
So, so you start
bring it up.
Just be like, hey, y'all, welcome,
welcome to today's episode.
Yeah, well, hey guys, welcome to today's episode. And then just take it away. And
all right, cool. Yeah. And then you'll come in?
Yep.
All right, cool. Oh, it's recording. I was waiting for the.
Oh, I didn't even turn it on. Well, because I'll keep it all within one. And these are good bloopers.
Yeah. All right. What's going on, guys? Hey, welcome to today's episode. This is a good one. We have a great conversation. Obviously, this is the L3 perspective where we talk life, love, and leadership. We really dove into the piece of life and leadership. primarily speaking on the topic of coaching.
Yep. So we're going to talk about coaching, kind of tell you guys what the fundamental differences are between coaching, mentorship, how we activate these things in our daily life, how you can, and ultimately just how to do better when it comes to accountability itself, and maybe some resources you guys can reach out to just be the best you. Yes. But we hope you guys enjoy it. Let us know what you think. And here you go.
We'll see y'all soon.
Peace.